Alright guys, so I'm not going to say that much just because I know you guys want to get right into the tutorial. Yeah, so if you have not seen the performance for this best sandwich routine trick yet, go ahead and check it out. I'll have it pop up here in the video for you guys. The credit to this trick goes out to No First Rule. He is a really cool YouTuber and he makes some pretty cool tricks. Be sure to subscribe to him if you guys want to. Yeah, so let's get right into how this trick is done. So basically this trick is a sandwich routine and basically uses a normal deck of cards, except you have one little gimmick card, which I'll get into in a second. But you have two black kings, or whatever pair of cards that you want, but they have to be from a separate deck. So I just chose a black deck of bicycle playing cards. And this little gimmick you have to make here is a double back card, with one side is the color of the deck that you're using, and the other side is the color of the kings that you guys are using. So in this case, I have a green deck and two black kings, so I have a double-sided green back card. And this little gimmick card, you just put it together by taking any two cards from their respective decks and I used a little piece of double-sided tape to stick them together, but you guys can use glue or pretty much whatever you want to stick them together. But this is basically your gimmick, and you're gonna take this with the side of the deck color facing up, and that is going to go right there on the top of the deck, just like so. And then you can have the two black kings on the table or on the deck if you want to start. This is pretty much the starting position. You have the deck here, and also what I've done is I've actually removed the black kings from the green deck, just because there is a chance that they might like pop up, because there is a point where you kind of like show the cards, and if you kind of show the black kings, the spectators might get a little bit confused. So I just took them out just so that these will be the only two black kings in the deck. But anyway, let's get into the trick. But the deck can be totally shuffled and stuff. Alright, so this is basically what the trick starts out like. So pretty much the spectator can go through the deck and they can pick any card as long as it's not the top card. So you can kind of go like this and spread out the cards towards the middle of the deck, and they can go ahead and choose any card. Let's say it's the 7 of hearts in this case, okay? So now you can have them sign the card if they want, and basically what you're going to be doing is getting ready for a Marlowe tilt position. Basically what this is you're going to be lifting up the top card. In this case it's 2 cards because of the gimmick here, but I'm going to lift it up just a little bit, and I'm going to kind of bend it out in the back, and I'm going to be holding this with my ring finger and the base of my thumb, and this is going to create a gap. From the front of the cards, it doesn't really look like much. It really doesn't look like much to the spectators either. They won't really say anything. Once they're done signing the card, you do this while they're signing the card. You're going to get ready so that they aren't watching your hands. I know in the performance it was kind of easy to catch it because I have the camera staring down at my hands, so I couldn't really use any misdirection there. But when they give you the card back, you're going to take it and you're going to act like you're putting it in the middle. All you're doing is putting it right into that gap. You're going to square up the card, and right now, this is the gimmick card, and their card is in the second position. So that's pretty much a way to get it controlled into the second position. It's pretty easy. Alright, so this next part probably is the most complicated part of the trick, just because it's a lot of switching out of the cards here. So, you're going to point to the cards on the table, which are the black kings, and you're going to turn your wrist over as you do this. You're going to be pushing off the card, the top card, and you're going to be pulling it back, readjusting to catch a pinky break under your gimmick card. You can do this as your wrist is turned over. You're just going to push over and readjust to catch that pinky break, just like this. I'm going to point to the cards, and just like that I have my pinky break under the top card. I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to turn both my hands over at the same time, showing the black kings, okay? Then I'm going to square up all the cards with the deck, just like this, and I'm going to take every single card from the break, meaning the 3 cards. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the 3 cards here, and I'm going to just flip over both my wrists one more time. And I'm going to do the exact same move with the deck again. I'm going to flip over my hand, and I'm going to push off the top card, which is actually their selection, and I'm going to catch a pinky break, okay? And I'm going to flip over this wrist at the same time, but over here, I'm catching my pinky break just like so. That was obviously exaggerated, but in performance speed, it looks something like that. And there I have my pinky break. And now, what you're going to be doing is putting the cards back. So basically, it's not going to be in a normal way. You're going to be flipping both of your wrists over again, and you're not going to be squaring up the cards here. You're actually going to be kind of getting a thumb break, just like so, under the selection, the 7 of hearts. Because you wouldn't want it to be like this, where all the cards are squared up. You want the 7 of hearts to be definitely separated from the pack with your thumb, okay? And all you do there is you just come over and you kind of just make your thumb go out a little bit further than it would normally be, and then just kind of pick it up from the back. And from the front, the spectators won't really notice this, especially if you angle the cards down towards their eyesight, just like this. Now, this is what you're going to be doing. You're just going to peel off the top king, king of spades, don't hold any breaks or anything like that, and then the king of clubs. You're not going to peel it off, you're just going to set it on top, and basically, you're going to drop off that card, which is basically the selection. Don't actually drop it on the table, just drop it on the deck, of course. But you're just going to drop it on the deck, and you're going to take away these two cards, which are the king and the double-sided card. But when you take them away, you're going to take them away, and you're going to flip them over, spread them out, and set them on the table. This obviously looks like the two black kings because they're the only black cards in the deck. But in reality, you actually have their selection and one of the black kings face up on top of the deck, okay? And you have the double-sided card right here on top and the other king right here. Now, this is the first part of the trick. You're going to flip over the cards so that they're face up. You're just going to cut about half the cards onto the table. You're going to take the top card, which is going to be the double-sided. Don't flip it over, obviously, but set it on the deck, and then you can actually flip this one over if you want to, and say, this is basically a sandwich routine. And as you can see, there's absolutely nothing in between the kings. And there really is nothing in between the kings. But this is not the king, so pretty much you're lying to them already at this point. But you can say that there really is nothing in between the kings. And you're just going to take this pack and set it on the top. Flip over the deck. You have to flip over the deck, is very important. And then just spread out the cards. And the first part of the trick will already be done, where you can take the cards just like this. And make sure when you take out the kings, you kind of separate the deck at the point from where the kings were at, because what you're going to be doing is taking the bottom half and placing it on the top, but you don't have to worry about that yet. So you can take out the card, flip over the kings and show that they're black, and then you can show that they found your card, seven of hearts. You're going to take the bottom half now, square it up, and place it on top, because now what you've just done is you've moved your gimmick card to the bottom of the deck, okay? And now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be getting a break under the gimmick card. So you can do this in two ways. You can just kind of do a pinky pull down like so, or an easier way to do it is you can slide it over to the right. If you're right-handed, you can hold the deck in your right hand, use your left hand to slide it over to the right. This will be invisible because your fingers will be covering the card, just like so. But then you can kind of pull down with your pinky and then square it back up. And that's a nice way to get a pinky break as well. But I just prefer a pinky pull down because it's faster. So get a pinky break and then transfer that to a thumb break with your right hand, just like so. I'm going to be holding this thumb break, and what I'm going to be doing, swing cutting over about half of the cards. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be dropping off the card and then catching a pinky break, just like this. So right here is your gimmick card, but I have a pinky break right on top of it, okay? I'm going to take the selection and I'm going to stick it right into the break, okay? So it's going to go right on top of the gimmick card, just like so. Yeah, it's going to go right on top of it. And then you can kind of flip it over and show that it really is in the middle of the deck. And now you're going to square up the card, but you're not really going to completely square it up. You're going to push down and in at the same time. And that's going to allow you to catch another pinky break right on top of the card. Now you can either double undercut the cards to the top, just like so, just to get the cards to the top, or you can do some false table cuts if you want. But double undercut is much easier. So basically what that is, you just take about half the cards from the bottom, move them to the top, and then the rest of the cards from the break and move them to the top. And now you have the two cards you need to be on top of the deck. Now, in this part, you say you're going to do the same exact thing, but with the cards face up, meaning the kings. You're going to take both of the kings, and you can definitely show these freely now because these are actually the two kings. And you can say that there's absolutely nothing in between them. You can rub the kings just like this and set this pack on top. Okay, now this part is a little bit tricky, so be sure to listen up here, okay? So I'm going to flip over the cards just like this, and I'm going to spread the deck until I reach the first black card I see. It's going to be face down, okay? So the first black card I see, boom. I'm not going to go any further than that, because if I went further, I might flash that there are 3 black cards. I do not want to flash that. So I'm going to go until I see 1, just like this. Set down this pack onto the table, and this is the next part. It's kind of tricky, because you're just going to be going like this. You're going to say, right here, And yeah, you cannot flash this card. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel it off with your thumb, but at the same time, you're going to catch it in this hand, and you're going to instantly just drop this hand to the table. So at performance speed, it should look something like this. Just like that. And I'll get into the details right now. So when I reach the black card, I'm going to peel off the next card, and show that it really is sandwiched. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of use these fingers here to catch the card underneath. So catch it underneath like this, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of turn my wrist down at the same time because I don't want to flash this black card. This is what you do. You're going to peel off 1, 2, 3, just like that. And that's pretty much what you're going to do right there. Okay, so once you've hidden the black card on the bottom, you're going to take these cards here and set them on the top of the deck. And now you have a face-up king on the bottom, so just be sure not to flash it. Now you're pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing again, where you take the selection, you're going to do a pinky pull down on the bottom card. In this case, it's a face-up king, and you're going to catch a thumb break. You're going to swing cut about half the cards, drop the king, and then catch a pinky break. So at performance speed, that whole thing should look something like this. So I catch my pinky break, thumb break, swing cut, drop, adjust to pinky break. Just like that, okay? So I have my pinky break above the king. I'm going to take the 7, or whatever card it is, and I'm just going to place it right into the gap. So right on top of the face-up king. I can show that it really is in the middle of the deck. And I'm going to do the exact same thing where I push down and in, so I catch another pinky break or a thumb break, and then you can double undercut the cards to the top if you so please, just like this. Now I have my 7 of hearts on top and my face-up king on top as well. So now for this next part, what you're going to be doing is picking up the kings at the same time. You have to make sure that the double-sided card is on top, and trust me, you will be able to feel the difference between the cards. Like, I already know this is a king because it's much lighter, and also I can kind of feel that there are 2 cards here anyway. But this card is much thicker and much heavier than a single card. So just make sure, if you were to switch around the order of the cards at all, make sure that you end up with the double-sided on top, because what you're going to be doing is picking up the kings here and just flashing that bottom king. But you're not going to be doing that quite yet. First, you're going to flip over the deck face up, and you're going to swing cut about a quarter of the cards into your other hand, and you're just going to catch a pinky break just like this, all right? Now this is the part where if you're going to rearrange them, flip over, flash that bottom king, because you don't want to flash that green card right there. So flip it over just like this, kind of spread them out, and set them right into the gap where your pinky is, all right? So just put them right in there. And now you can close the gap with your pinky because you don't really need it anymore. And now, this is a little cool subtlety that I like to do. It's a nice convincer that there are kings. What I do is I take my hand here in this position, my thumb on top and fingers in the bottom. I'm going to flip my entire wrist over like so, and then readjust, show that king, and then flip over the deck like this into my hand. Because, I mean, what you could do instead of that is just kind of go like this, because you're going to want the kings facing the spectator. But a nice little subtlety that I like to do is flip over the deck, show that king one last time, and then flip the entire deck over, just to have a nice convincer of these are kings, okay? Now what you're going to be doing is spread about just a couple of cards, like not too much. You're going to take the king that is on top of the other one, because this is actually going to be the double-sided. You're going to take it out, you're going to leave the other king in there, but you're going to take this card and you're just going to kind of place it anywhere else among these cards. And you can spread just a couple cards more, but you don't want to spread too far, because then you're going to flash third black card and the 7 of hearts. So just be sure to spread out. Only about these cards are fine. The spectators just need to see this image so that they can really believe that the cards are separated and that the impossible is about to happen. Because what you're going to tell them seems really impossible. You tell them the kings have 2 steps left. First, they have to come together, and then second, they have to find your card. So what you're going to do is you're going to square up the deck and push the 2 cards into the deck. You're going to flip over the cards, snap your fingers, and spread out the deck. And then you can clearly show the 2 kings here, sandwiching 1 card, and you can flip these over, just like this, and you can show that the 7 of hearts, the selection, was found by the 2 kings. And then most of the attention will be like on the kings in the selection. Not really much attention will be on the deck. And there is a way to get rid of the selection. If you make a double-sided card using double-sided tape, it kind of acts as a Svengali card if you riffle up the back And by that, I mean it will kind of stop. Like, you'll kind of feel it, like, click and stop at the card. Just like that, boom. This is actually the double back card. Just because it has, like, 2 cards stuck together, it's just kind of, like, a little bit more thick. So we'll just kind of stop at that point. So what you can do is you can pick up the deck. As they're looking at the cards, you can riffle up from the back. And you can catch a pinky break. You can pass it to the top. You can double undercut it to the top. And you can palm it off if you want to. I mean, if you really want the spectators to examine the deck, you can, but you really don't have to do that at all. You can just show the deck here and then put it away. This can be like a closing trick if you just want to put the cards away right after that so that they don't have to examine the cards. But yeah, guys, so I really enjoyed this trick just because of how fair it looks. It just looks super fair. But yeah, guys, so hopefully you guys like this really cool trick, and see you guys for my next video. Bye.